What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kryptonite. Be your own bank. That's what we talk about here on this channel. We do some technical analysis. We talk about good investments. By the way, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. And we utilize the blockchain. We look at altcoin projects, and we just do all things crypto and trading here on this channel. I love it, guys. Super excited. The bull run is in effect. However, if you guys have watched my last couple videos, you would know that I have been warning you about an imminent correction. And what I was basing that mostly off of was the volume on multiple exchanges here is quite, whoa, go back there, bud. Has been going lower and lower and lower as we've been pumping higher and higher and higher, lower. The only thing that hasn't been is the perpetual inverse contracts, which, guys, aren't even spot Bitcoin. It's just people betting on the price of Bitcoin with no real spot Bitcoin involved. So I don't think we can really use this other than just showing, hey, there's people interested in sort of trading fake Bitcoin, essentially. So not too much to take there. Again, lowering volume, big move up. Again, exchange after exchange after exchange is warning you guys, this move up is kind of fake. Now, this doesn't mean that we're not in a bull run, and this doesn't mean that we won't go higher. But we are, there's still a little over 40 days to the Bitcoin halving. Historically, we haven't even made any serious moves until about a month after the halving is when we see a more serious run, because that's when that supply that gets cut in half really hits the market hard, and you start to see just the supply and demand, take over. So the fact that we were pumping even before the halving was already kind of a little bit of a red flag, in my opinion. Now, there were some reasons behind this. Obviously, we had the ETFs. So there was a lot of institutional buying. And like I showed on my previous video, which I'll show again here real quick, if you look at a lot of these ETFs, very high volume on these ETFs. A lot of volume, right? So that's where a lot of this move up was coming on this high volume. But again, the exchanges are showing that this really is kind of a bit of a fake pump in a way. And I guess if I were to, I don't want to sit on the fence here and not give you guys my honest opinion. If I was to jump off the fence here, I would honestly say, just based on the technical analysis, based on volume profile analysis, this could have potentially have been kind of a fake pre-pump to the halving in order to try to get retail investors to jump in prematurely. As you can see, guys, we did make a new all-time high on multiple exchanges. You can see here on Bybit, we made a new all-time high. Here on Coinbase. There's a couple that didn't really make all-time highs. This one on the index made an all-time high, but most we made just a very slight all-time high, or just touched it. Bitfinex is a little bit more, it's about even, but we did technically make a new all-time high. We took some liquidity from the top of our previous move here, which obviously we had a very dramatic move down from this point. So not surprisingly, we have seen an immediate rejection from this area. Not surprised, right? Just basic technical analysis. We have this strong resistance area. We had a dramatic down move from this area. We sort of slight liquidity grab from this area of, not surprisingly, a lot of people are taking profits. I know multiple traders who have taken millions in profits because they sort of traded this move. They traded this, essentially this triangle. Let's see if it pops up here on my, yeah. So essentially the trade was this triangle that was going down here, right? And once it broke, people got in the trade here, and now it's reached its target point. That's where people, and traders specifically, who are just maybe they're just trading Bitcoin, they're not actually investing in Bitcoin. This is where they're taking their profits here, right at the top. So not surprisingly, immediate rejection. As we can see on the lower time frames, here's the daily chart. A massive candle here. We've got about an hour till this closes. Really strong bearish engulfing candle, high volume, a decent amount of buying pressure on the bottom here. Ideally you'd like to see a full bodied candle with that kind of volume. So definitely some buying still happening. Again, this is about an hour till this one closes, but I would still, if this closes like this, I would still say this is pretty bearish for the short-term price of Bitcoin. As you can see, if we jump down even the 4-hour, again, a nice big bearish candle, a little bit of buying pressure, but mostly selling. Our money flow is not trending very strong to the green. And I believe there's quite a large divergence that happened even on the shorter time frames, like the 1 hour. Look at this bearish divergence right here to here. Massive bearish divergence. Of course, we got a big push down. As you can see, I'm in a little bit of a trade right here. This one could fail. Very, very short-term trade here. Going kind of based off the moving averages, we did break under the 200. This is a very short-term trade because we broke under the 200 on the 15-minute moving averages, and we're about to get that 50 crossover on the 200, which is pretty bearish. So I figured I'd take a scalp kind of short here. Money flows, trending really strong to the downside. We already got that cross of the 21 over the 50. So I do expect us to hit some resistance here as the 50 crosses the 200. And maybe that was actually a better point to get into the trade. Very possible, because as you can see, it's kind of going not in my favor at the moment. So that's just a short-term kind of scalp trade. We could see like a larger, I wouldn't be surprised to see a larger retracement here. Maybe something at the golden pocket area, which depending on the time frame you're trading at, I could have waited to maybe take a trade here at the golden pocket. Again, getting a potential 21 over 50 cross here to the downside. So we'll see if this trade works out. Just a short-term trade here. Again, we have money flow on the 1 hour trending down as well. But might have been a little premature getting in just because we are so low on the RSI. I might needed to reset a little bit. But we'll see. Like I said, trade might not work out on that one. That's okay. I'll probably look for another short position a little higher up if we do, if that trade does not succeed. So yeah, that's just a short little trade I did there. But again, things are looking, I would say, fairly bearish on the shorter time frames, and I would expect to see, a pretty large retracement here. If these weekly, this one has still 5 days left on it, right? This weekly candle looks very much, like a potential temporary top type candle if it finishes that way. If you're a really like long-term trader, then you might want to wait for this weekly candle close before you were to maybe, go in on a short. I don't think this will be a massive retracement necessarily. I have been saying that we do need to see a retracement soon, and I think that's what's happening here. Let me grab my retracement tool. So let's say we do get a large retracement. Maybe this is a nice area of consolidation in between 45 and 41. So I definitely could see coming down and kind of getting back in this consolidation area here in the 40s. That would be, probably in line with our nice trail here, would probably be kind of somewhat aligned with that. And we'd have the 0.5 retracement level on this move, which would be, a standard sized retracement if this does potentially move down. So I do, again, I'm going to tell you my honest thoughts. Don't just trade based off me. Obviously do your own research and make sure you agree. I do see a large retracement coming. I just think the volume, unless there's a lot of dark pool stuff going on with these big players where they can hide their volume on the exchanges, I do, just have to stick with my analysis and what's worked. And what's worked typically is, the volume and price and seeing the discrepancies there. And I just see a pretty big discrepancy with the type of movement we've had, but just how low the volumes have been. And I just think that's a discrepancy I cannot ignore. And I do think it's actually healthy for us to have a correction. And it would just make sense that, seeing as how the move from this area was so dramatic, why wouldn't a lot of people be taking profits, and why wouldn't we see a somewhat dramatic move down? I don't see how that would be unreasonable in any way to think that this was a temporary top and we're going to come down and just retest some of these other consolidation areas. Maybe kind of retest right here, this consolidation area. Oh, it's not been working for me sometimes. It's slow. Let's see, go back to the weekly. So maybe even retest this area here of consolidation. Where'd you go? Bam. Right? So we could even come down here, retest this area around 44. Kind of same thing in this, like this range here kind of was consolidation. This was consolidation here. So I could definitely see us coming down and getting caught in some of these consolidation areas again between this area. I would definitely say this area, it's area between 45 and 36 is definitely an area where I would be probably looking to accumulate a lot more Bitcoin, to be honest. And like I said in my previous videos too, I think this is a good opportunity. If we do see this larger retracement here, I do think this is a good opportunity to start averaging down on some of these altcoins. As you can see, we already have seen a drop in some of these altcoins. ADA dropped about almost 10 cents. Crow had a big spike, but has dropped down since. Solana dropped down a little bit. They're kind of recovering a little bit, but this would be a good time. Me personally, again, you're not trying to catch the exact bottom. If Bitcoin does have a pretty big retracement, like these alts will come down as well. But I think this is a good time to sort of, if you've missed this move, then as we're coming down on a retracement, this is a good time to be averaging down on some of the alts. So I will be periodically, again, buying alts as we come down here on this move. And if we get low enough, I will pick up more Bitcoin. Right now, for me, it's still a bit overpriced in my opinion in terms of just the time frame of the trade I'm looking at. If you're just a dollar cost averager looking for the future, you should just buy it whenever. It doesn't matter. But for me, I'm looking to sort of accumulate at certain spots. And so if it does drop in the 40s, I'll accumulate some more Bitcoin. But I do think that altcoins are going to be more of a more lucrative move for me in the long term. If you're sitting on millions of dollars, right? There's no point for you to invest in altcoins. I mean, you're already very well off, and you're just buy Bitcoin and ETH. You know what I mean? If you're already a millionaire, why take the risk of the altcoins going to zero when you could buy Bitcoin and ETH and get probably double your millions in this cycle? I mean, no need to be that greedy, people. So, but for me, again, I'm not a millionaire, so I do have to kind of take a little bit more risk, and I'm young too. So I've accumulated my Bitcoin position. I'll get more if it gets low enough, but again, altcoins I think are going to be more of the move. Again, just a diversified portfolio of altcoins as well. Don't just bank on one, because if it goes to zero, then everything goes to zero for you. So I definitely am going to be creating a portfolio. And like I said, I kind of went over my last video, kind of my rankings of altcoins, and I kind of rank them here on the side. So ADA is one of my favorites, XRP, Crow. I was going to buy some yesterday. It was pumping yesterday. I'm glad I held off because it has come back down a little bit. And as you can see, it's still in that bear market range, so still a good buying point for Crow, I think. BNB, still somewhat in its bear market range, did have a little bit of a pump, but could be a good opportunity here to get in. So I will be, after this video, I will actually probably be buying a couple of altcoins because you never know. Maybe Bitcoin finishes this candle not as a hammer, and maybe we continue upwards, right? That's a possibility. I could be wrong. I think we're due for a healthy correction, but you never know what's going to happen, guys. You got to be prepared for the sooner this daily candle closes, though, the better in terms of for us looking for short positions, because the more up it goes, the less bullish it's looking, guys. And obviously my trade could be a failure here, but that's why I got that stop loss. Cut my losses short, guys. Always gotta operate with the stop loss. Don't be like a noob trader and don't use a stop loss. You'll lose all your money, guys. Okay. So that is my analysis on Bitcoin in terms of a little more of the long term. And nothing too crazy here as far as we'll see if this turns into a divergence or not. Now, as far as news, I want to take a look at Marathon, a Bitcoin digital miner. I'm actually looking at this because they, price-wise, are actually still, I would say, still in their quote-unquote bear market range. Still quite low in comparison to what we have been. It's a Bitcoin miner, so it's a little bit different than buying Bitcoin. Again, I think although it's not being super diverse, I guess. If you're more of a stock person and you want to have some exposure to some crypto stocks, I do think this could be a good one. Again, it might cool down here if we see a retracement, but that money flow, nice curving on the monthly, to the upside. Once we get that cross, should be a good sign of things to come. And obviously, if the Bitcoin price goes up, then their holdings are going to go up as well. Although it is interesting to note that their price has actually still consistently gone down. It's probably because the overall, it's harder to mine, obviously, over time. And so you have to really keep up with technology and cutting costs to be one of these miners. If there's one con I'd say that Bitcoin has, because again, it's not perfect. There's cons. The one con I see is that you could see a consolidation of the miners because it becomes so difficult to mine as these halvings happen, and the supply gets cut. Well, now these miners have to sort of consolidate their resources because they've got to pay their electricity bills, and now in order to make the same amount of money, it's going to demand more electricity, right? So you either have to you have to be using some of your profits to buy more miners, so that way when the halving comes that you're prepared to make the same amount, or you need to find ways to cut costs on your current electricity, or get better machines that are more efficient, or else you're going to go out of business. So that is one downside to Bitcoin, is you could see over time, a consolidation of just a few groups of miners who are able to pool their resources to make Bitcoin mining profitable. And that in and of itself is its own form of centralization, which is not ideal. So that's the one big flaw I see in Bitcoin, guys. I'm a truther. I'm here to tell you I still love Bitcoin. I still think it's a fantastic invention. But if there's one con, it's that one. Now, the hope is that as there is this huge incentive to mine Bitcoin, right, to make money, you'll see, human intuition, and humans will, because we're pretty good at making things more efficient if there's an incentive involved. And so with Bitcoin, there will be an incentive to make things more efficient, whether that be create better machines that run more efficiently, that use less energy. That's probably going to be the main thing. Maybe moving to locations where you can get a better energy output for cheap. There's going to be ways where I believe in humans, I guess is what I'm saying. I believe that humans will adapt because there's an incentive model in place. Humans will adapt and pursue technological advances that will increase efficiency, thus allowing Bitcoin mining to remain profitable over the course of time. So that's the hope, guys. That's the one demise. If it has to become so centralized so quickly due to the difficulty of the mining to be profitable, I do see that creating problems, because if you've got 3 groups of miners in the world, well, let's say a government raids their mining facility and shuts it down. I mean, the Bitcoin hash rate is going to drop significantly, right? If a third of the Bitcoin hash rate is taken offline by some country somewhere, right? It's not anywhere near that centralized at this point in terms of the mining, and I hope it never will be. Let's hope that we make some great advancements in our technology. And that could still be an inevitable possibility of Bitcoin, just maybe, far and away down the road. Maybe that's what will happen eventually, but maybe we'll have enough time to enjoy an asset, a hard asset that, we can make money off of in my lifetime. Maybe it's not until my kid's lifetime when mining becomes super centralized due to the difficulty, and we just haven't made those advancements that I'm hoping for. In that case, it might not be as great of an asset for my kids to buy as opposed to for me to buy. So I love Bitcoin, but I can't unsee the flaws, and that's one of them. And again, nothing is perfect, right? No asset is perfect. I think for my lifetime, I think Bitcoin's going to be a great investment, and it's going to be something I'm going to hold for most of my lifetime. In the next life, my kids, I might say, hey, find a different asset, find the new technology or the new thing. Definitely invest in an asset, but maybe Bitcoin's not it based on that major flaw that I see in it. So that's my thoughts on that. As you can see, it's their price has gone down even since 2012. You'd think that their price would go up, and I still think that you could see a trade here. Because you should see sort of a bull market even for the miners, right? If prices go up very dramatically, I think you will see a bull market. So I think I will pick up some shares here of Marathon, expecting a sort of bull run time, and then I'll have to just make sure that I'm taking profit on that, because as you can see, mining is a lot tougher of a prospect than just buying spot Bitcoin. So might even be better off just buying Bitcoin instead, to be honest, based on the potential return. If we only got up to 82 in the last bull run, and we're decreasing here, maybe this isn't such a great investment. Again, maybe just a short-term trade. That's probably about it. But we'll see. If they're one of the ones that survive, then there might be very few competitions for those miners, right? So anyway, just an option I'm looking at. If you're looking to get some exposure in the stock market to crypto, that might be an option for you. I'll probably pick up some as well. Yeah, Bitcoin's still doing its thing. I did want to take a look, I guess. So again, Marathon, and apparently, so what's interesting too is they're also, and this could be, they're sort of announcing, kind of changing up what they're, because I think they're even probably realizing like, hey, mining the supply's about to get cut in half. Like, we need to sort of do other things with this company to make money on top of because our revenues might drop with the mining if we're not prepared, and we haven't found a way to make things more efficient. And so you can see that they're actually opening up some new sort of revenue options, merge mining. So let's see here. Bitcoin don't. Yeah, so they're trying some different things here. They're trying to launch like a service, almost as if like Michael Saylor, with MicroStrategy, he's kind of it's a development company, right? And so they're sort of trying some new stuff here, as you can see. Yeah, Bitcoin Layer 2 network. So that's pretty cool. So again, they're just trying some new stuff, some other ways of getting revenue. They know that it's going to be tougher to mine. So, and then I did want to show guys, this is the unfortunate part of crypto. This is why it's good to have multiple wallets that have funds in them that are not all just one wallet and not all invested in one chain or one, like in my pools that I have, like, we're doing multiple chains, we're, multiple wallets, because this could happen, guys, right? So we have this layer 1 blockchain called Shido, which already kind of sounds sketchy already. I don't, I wonder if we can even find it on CoinMarketCap here, because Shido. Oh, look at that, guys. Extreme greed. So that's another thing, guys. Look at that. Extreme greed, 90, right? So this is another reason why I think the retracement's coming. Look at that. That greed needs to sort of reset, essentially, just like an RSI would need to reset. So I do think we're quite... so Shido here, if this is the right Shido. Yeah, so this is Shido, which again is, I wouldn't say is the most well-known blockchain here. And again, hopefully you didn't put all your hopefully you don't put all your money onto one chain, because look what happened, guys. And again, we also have to look at, I don't have it here, but I think one of the most important things to look at when you're looking at any chain, token distribution is key. This is why I'm so huge on Cardano, because they released a majority of the tokens to the public. So if the majority of the tokens are to the public, then the odds of a pump and dump scam are very unlikely, because the people that might want to dump it, well, they can only have so much effect on the price because so much of the public holds, the people hold the power, as opposed to, I wouldn't be surprised if something like this, like if you look at the tokenomics, again, I'm just speculating here, but if you look at the tokenomics, I guarantee you that a lot of the Shido coins were probably in the hands of the sort of the VCs, and I don't think I guarantee you they didn't have a lot given out to the people, essentially. I guess at least they refunded the stakers' lost tokens. That's good. And second that, so if you want to avoid these random chains like this, or if you're gonna take a chance on some sort of chain like this, really minimize your risk, right? Like a small bag, but stick with the well-known stuff, right? Stick with the top 10 coins, the top 10 chains. Those are just gonna be a lot safer. You're not gonna get mind-bending returns potentially, but I think it's just a lot safer way to go. There's no need to be greedy. There's no need to try to be a millionaire tomorrow. Invest in your skills, invest in jobs you can do right now around you to make money, and invest as much as you can in the market into safer things. And I feel like just being in crypto by itself is already kind of enough risk already. Why do you need to take even more risk by investing in these real, like, random low cap coin, especially a lot of money, right? Like I said, good. You're always good to take some swings, put a little money on some on some stuff. And again, this was also, I don't know if it was a dump. So I mean, it could have been a dump or a hack or both. Apparently, from what I read, they traced the wallet back to somebody who was kind of within the company. So that looks bad. That looks like somebody within the company like just pumped and dumped it, essentially. It doesn't look good. So it looks like a hack per se, but it could just be a dump, right? Just a pump and dump. So this is what exists in crypto. This is the downside. This is what you have to look out for. So do not invest in random shit chains and coins. If you do, just make that risk very minimal. Know that you're going to lose it most likely. If you don't, then you'll have the big return. If you don't, then hey, you'll just lose a little bit of money. No big deal. But like I said, stick to the big names, the big chains, ones I mentioned here on this channel. And don't get scammed, people. Don't get scammed. So, yeah, guys, look at that. Extreme greed, guys. As always, be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy. So I think this is a time to start to be a little fearful, right? Start to increase the fear in your mind, because, and again, I would start to take some profits potentially. Extreme greed range. So could be a sign of some toppage. All right, guys, video's a little shorter today. That's all I'm going to go over. And yeah, again, just be looking at this monthly candle and the weekly candle. Those are going to be things I'm watching very closely to see how they finish. And again, I'm in some shorts in the short term. And I am looking short at this point. Oh, this trade not looking so good for me. Although I will say, I'm liking that this volume is declining on this move up. I like that. Let's go. But we'll see. Guys, thank you for watching. Again, I'll try to update you every day with some Bitcoin TA, with any news items that are important, and try to update you with my altcoin buys as well. I'm gonna probably, I think today, I want to try to take advantage of some of these lower. I guess the debate I'm having in my mind is I could invest in some of these today, which wouldn't be a bad idea, or I could wait a little longer and just kind of see how this plays out. See how these like candles finish, especially on the weekly, right? This would be, to me, one of the most important candle finishes to see kind of what we finish here. Because if we finish something like this with this doji from this resistance level, I might actually plus a liquidity grab essentially from the top. I might hold off. I might hold off on any alts to see if we get the beginnings of a retracement. And once that retracement begins, that's when I'm probably averaging down on some alts and kind of seeing how low we go. But this will be kind of a key candle for me. I'm going to be watching. I'm also going to be watching to see if we end up with somewhat of a divergence here on the. I think if this finishes like this and we get even some continuation based on this, I do think this would qualify as a divergence. Wouldn't be a super strong one just because it's not really a lower high. It looks like it'll be like the exact equivalent high, but according to here, obviously this was a much higher high. So that will be still a divergence, and I still think we will see a retracement. Not sure how big it will be, but I can't imagine there wouldn't be a decent amount of profit taking here and some sort of retracement. So we'll see. I don't want to try to call the exact top or bottom, so I might still purchase a little bit here with some of these, especially because some of these have dumped a little bit. Like BNB, for example, has dumped a little bit, and I wanted to pick up some of that. Crow dumped a little bit as well. We'll see. I'll be watching. I think the first thing, we just got to wait for this daily candle to close here. That's going to be a big key number one. High volume, bearish engulfing. No divergence, I don't think. Strong money flow still going in the green. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Maybe a divergence, but not a super strong one. Like you'd like to see that money flow kind of coming out, potentially. So, again, I'm waiting a little longer to see what I'm going to do here. I'll keep you guys updated. I'll post a video tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys. Kryptonite, be your own bank. And that's, I guess, one more final thought is, just occurred to me, was I was planning on taking a lot of these altcoin buys and putting them in various trading pools to make like a pretty decent return, hopefully anywhere from like 15 to 30%. So if you're going to do something like that, then this isn't a bad time to buy, because even if prices decrease on the altcoins, I'm still getting that return based on the pools. And so by the time it comes back up and we hit like more of the peak bull run, obviously I'll be very happy that I bought here, and I'll have accumulated a lot more of those coins based on the trading pools and the APR and the trading pools. So I had to remind myself of that. Actually, one thing I want to do before we go, I did want to review like an old trade. I want to make this a little bit more of a tradition. I'm trying to go back and review old trades to just kind of get in the headspace of what I need to be looking for. One thing that I definitely struggle with as a trader, maybe some of you can relate, is just jumping around to too many different styles of trading. I'm very prone to that. I'm very prone to like, oh, I see a video about some new trading style with this new indicator, and then I want to try it out. And I'm trying to just like go through all the trades I've ever made and just see like what is really working the best for me, and like what is really like my way of trading, right? Because you got to find your unique way, and you got to stick to it. You can't be jumping around to different stuff. Like it's not going to be good. You want to find a way that works for you with just a few simple indicators, and that's it, right? And I still put too much on the charts and I confuse myself. And I'm still working on trying to really reduce the amount of stuff I have on my charts and kind of narrow things down a little bit more to my exact trading style. So one of the things I want to do is I want to look back at old trades on every video to kind of see what went wrong, what went right. So this is a trade. Actually, I want to do this one. So this is a trade I made way back in June 15, 2022. Okay. And pretty much my main analysis here was I was using moving averages, right? I was using the 21 and the 50. Pretty sure the white is the 21 in this scenario. The other thing I saw in this particular trade, obviously I had support and resistance lines. I'm pretty sure I had put these up on the hourly chart, and but I was trading off the 15. So in this trade, for example, we had this trend line here that we broke with a really large green candle with very high volume, signaling kind of like this trend had essentially been broken, right? So I was looking for long positions. We came down, we tested the moving average, came up, then we tested the moving average again with a bullish 3-line strike candle, which means like 3 bearish candles in a row and a nice bullish. We got some continuation, and that's when I went ahead and entered the trade right here. This is very simple, right? I used, hey, look, we got support from this horizontal line of support, so most likely we're going to go to our next level that I had marked. So we're kind of in the middle of this area. The moving averages were, still bullish in a sense, right? Because we still, even though we didn't have the 21 cross yet, we were still, above the moving averages, and they weren't, aimed, down so dramatically. Of course, we had a big candle, big S candle with volume, and so I was looking for a continuation, waited to get in once I saw some confluences there, and then we took it up and took profit at our next resistance level. So this is just as much for me as it is for you out there, as a kind of just a reminder of some of the things. So I have, and seeing some of these old trades, I have sort of like, I need to be more focused on the moving averages and using those just to like help establish those trends that are going on, and really take trades off of the moving averages. That's something I'm trying to be better at. And then I think I had one more that I saw, again, another kind of same thing. I had the, my hourly horizontal lines of resistance and support. I was using the moving averages. We were under the 200 here. We had a cross. Actually, I think I even took it before the cross happened. I just saw the cross happening. We got rejected from the 50 moving average. We had been rejected from our horizontal line of resistance with a 3-line strike, and actually a nice sized candle as well with some decent volume. So I ended up jumping in the trade right there, and it came back and retested that 21 one more time before continuing down farther to my next level of resistance there. So I am kind of looking at these old trades and seeing how simple my analysis was, and trying to kind of go back to that just more kind of simple approach. Support and resistance, some moving averages, trend lines if they help or not, and the candle and the price action. So these two trades obviously worked out pretty well for me, and were very simple, and not too much going on the charts, not too confusing. I feel like you can kind of see what's going on. Look at that. Back when Bitcoin was 21,000. Oh, do I miss the days of $21,000 Bitcoin. Oh, do I miss it. It's never coming back. Never coming back, probably. But, man, I wish I would have invested even more than I did at that range. But, no one knows for sure what's going to happen, guys. We did the best at the time. Yeah, so there's a couple of trades, so just want to give those guys to you. And, guys, enjoy your day. I will see you on the next video.